Hey guys, I'm Rachel, and I'm here to bring up the possibilities of Life is Strange Season 2. Yes, I'm going there. I'm that fan that doesn't want to let something that already has had closure go because I love it so damn much. Now I want y'all to know before you keep watching that there's going to be spoilers in this video, blah blah blah, if you haven't beaten the game, blah blah blah, walk away, don't say I didn't warn you. Anyway, I know what you're thinking. How can there be a Season 2? Depending on your playthrough, you either have a dead Chloe or a dead everyone else. And you guys were calling Warren thirsty. Max literally let everyone die so she could run off into the sunset with her blue-haired partner in time. Now that's what I call love. Well, as some of you may have read, Polygon had an interview with one of the developers about the possibility of a second season back before episodes 4 and 5 had even been released. The interview was mostly vague and didn't leave us with much other than Luke stating, "We would love to do another season," which was what got all of us crazy, theory-obsessed fans immediately drumming up in our heads all of the little possibilities that could come from a second season of Life is Strange.
Like I said, not crazy.
But high, right?
But then Michelle said something else in the interview that pulled us back from the theories we were already writing in our heads. That if Don't Nod does pursue a second season, it's likely to feature a new cast, like American Horror Story. While this still could be pretty awesome, especially if they found a way to connect the characters from the first season to the second season in little ways, maybe throw in a cameo here and there. I would definitely be down to play it and experience another great world and story that Don't Nod would surely bring again. It still gave me a pang of disappointment reading this, knowing that I'd have to say goodbye to my beloved characters, and a lot of other fans felt the same. While this happening is the most probable thing that would happen if we were to get a Season 2, I will point out that Michelle said likely. It's likely to feature a new cast. But Rachel, you're all asking, how would there be a sequel with our beloved characters if the storyline is confirmed as completely completed forever, totally complete, done, finished, ended, over? Well, I say, that doesn't mean there isn't another story hidden within the one that's already come to a close. Okay, but what the fuck are you talking about, you guys are asking? And I will answer you with 2 words. Rachel Amber.
That's Rachel Amber. Her missing person posters are all over Blackwell.
While Rachel Amber has a very strong presence in the game, you never actually see her, even in a flashback. The only thing we, as players, know about her is what other people tell us about her, or the things we found out on our own, such as the fact that she's dead and buried in a junkyard. Ugh, I don't want to think about that scene right now, I might actually cry.
I'm sorry, Chloe.
Rachel is a very mysterious character, and a very important one, too. She was the real person who set things in motion, not Max or Chloe. Without Chloe wanting to run away with Rachel, Chloe would have never gotten involved with Nathan. Chloe wouldn't have been in the bathroom that day, and Max would have never discovered her time powers. There's one point in the game that Max suggests that she feels Rachel is leading them to the clues they need. There have been several fan theories that Rachel is, or was, like Max in the sense that she too has time-traveling powers. While it was never brought up or confirmed in the game, there are still a lot of signs and clues pointing to the fact that she very well could have had the powers. First of all, there were many people that seemed to love or be deeply fond of Rachel Amber, especially Chloe and Frank, the 2 people Rachel spent the most time with. Of course she'd want them to think the best of her, so if she had powers, she'd probably use them to her advantage to always say the best things possible. The people who didn't love her were people that were clearly jealous of her, like Victoria, who didn't like how much attention Rachel got. Rachel was referred to as being her own club. Everyone looked up to her or idolized her. She was a step above just popular, and I find it hard to believe she was just naturally that awesome without cheating.
Rachel was like her own club. She was actually too cool for us.
Rachel partied a lot, hung out with a lot of troublemakers like Frank, Chloe, and Nathan, without seeming to get into much trouble herself. And it's implied that some cheating may have been going on. It's hard to tell if it was he said, she said, or the truth, but obviously Rachel was with Frank, right? Well, she was also implied to be with Chloe, and dare I say, Jefferson. So what's the truth? Or rather, were they all the truth? Was she just great at balancing all of them because of her powers?
Rachel Amber absolutely had sex with him.
Oh, God. She was the one good thing in my life, Max.
She was my angel.
This subject of cheating brings me to an idea specifically about how this Rachel Amber-esque sequel could work out really well. Not only do a lot of the points I just brought up imply that Rachel could have been a time traveler, they imply that there are a lot of things about her that didn't seem set in stone or definite. Being as this is a choice-based game, wouldn't it be awesome to make decisions for Rachel? Make Rachel how you want her to be? Decide if you want her with Frank or Chloe? Decide the parts of her story that weren't explained, like if she genuinely liked Nathan and Jefferson, or if she was just using them for her passion to model. Decide if she was genuinely nice, or if she was actually mean to people, if she just used them. Decide who you spend your time with and who you tell the truth to, or who you lie to. We could have had her end up like the Rachel that was in Max and Chloe's timeline, or we could have an alternate timeline Rachel that is different than the one we knew about in Season 1, depending on the choices you make. The timelines and the storyline are where things get tricky if the sequel were a reality. There are many options to go with when it comes to this, and obviously this is all just a hypothetical idea/suggestion, rather than a theory of an entire game that could be made, because that would be a little silly, which is why I'm calling this a possibility rather than a theory per se. But let's say Don't Nod decides to do this, okay? They give Rachel time-traveling powers, and the purpose isn't to save Chloe or another friend, but herself. Maybe she got her powers the first time she was about to die in the dark room. Maybe she learned how to prevent her death, but then when she tried to go on with her life, the same thing happened to her that it did with Max and Chloe. Some sort of catastrophic disaster was going to plague the town, and no matter how much she tried to prevent terrible things from happening, she just kept having more awful things happen. Maybe in a timeline, Chloe ends up getting drugged and killed instead of her. Maybe it happens to Kate, or another random girl, and Rachel wouldn't be able to live with herself. She keeps going back and trying to change things, just like we did as Max. But there's always gotta be tit for tat, as we have sadly learned. And eventually, she has to accept her fate, just like Chloe did, and let herself die in the dark room. Or maybe that was a sacrifice she made because of time traveling. Maybe she did get her powers to save someone else, maybe Chloe, from being murdered by Jefferson and Nathan. And after using her powers to try and go back and fix everything and making a million timelines, she realized she could sacrifice herself in that person's place, kind of like Max sacrificing the town for Chloe. If Rachel sacrificed herself for the person she was trying to save, it would have been a choice she made to save someone she loved. Maybe it was to save Frank, or maybe, Jefferson. Who knows? There are infinite possibilities and infinite choices and infinite alternate timelines that would work if Don't Nod were to make this Rachel Amber story and let it unfold, and give the players a chance to learn more about a mysterious yet well-loved character, as well as being able to play in a familiar environment and be able to spend time with our precious blue-haired punk again. As I said, this is all a hypothetical, possible idea, just to think about for fun. I know though we probably won't get anything like this, especially since it would be so similar to the first season. And it might seem kind of silly to just waste our time again on something that we know has a specific fate. But that's okay, because I'm glad Don't Nod made a video game that made us fans so attached to the characters and their environment that we cling to desperate hopes and ideas like this, to make us relive them in our own ways. Thanks for watching, guys. Rachel out.